Welcome to Vexxed Uncensored with Saint and myself, Mo Vader, bringing you the very best news, music, and our very own Vexxed segments. It's rough, it's raw. Please enjoy.
Create your craze today with brandcraze.co.uk.
Do you have an online business or social media presence? Then look no further than brandcraze.co.uk. They specialise in web design, logo making, everything you can think of, social media. Then look no further than brandcraze.co.uk.
You're now listening to a preview of the new electronic single, Time, the Legacy Remix. Watch the new CGI animated music video from Saint, available to download and stream from major music stores worldwide, including iTunes, Vivo, Tidal, and more on September 28th. Visit saintmusic.link for more information.
Producer interruption here. Before the show starts, we'd like to issue a trigger warning for the first half of the show for those sensitive to topics around race and sexual abuse. Our hosts have conversations on Russell Brand's controversy early on, and they also talk about the social and physical implications of being of mixed race heritage later on in the show. Also, an issue with Saint's microphone is addressed at the 55-minute mark and fixed. I hope the engineer gets to keep his job. Now, with that sorted, let's hand it over to Mo and Saint for this week's episode of Vexxed Uncensored.
Welcome back to Vexxed Uncensored with me, Saint.
And me, Mo Vader.
How you been since last episode?
Bring in the robots, yeah. I do kind of wish they'd bring in the robots. Obviously, I wouldn't know how that particular high school girl felt, but I could only assume after taking 3 rounds from the whole basketball team, she would feel somewhat like how I do
Rundown
this weekend. Got no brakes on me now. I'm just scraping metal to metal. We'll be going straight back into it in about 24 hours.
That's less than an hour.
It's not. But how have you been?
Good. The book's done.
Well, hey,
yeah.
Do you know what? I haven't even...
Yeah, you've got a copy.
I've read it.
Yeah, it'll come. But yeah, finished that, so that's a weight off. EP is coming out. What is it again? It's coming out the 30th of September. Yeah.
Okay.
7 remixes.
That's 7 days.
Oh, in 7 days. How about that? When you do it. Yeah, bunch of videos coming out, like cool visualizers. All really good. And then music video for a song called Time.
Okay.
That's now like been remixed or whatever. The song never came out. It's 10 years old.
10 years old?
The vocals are 10 years old, guys. Yeah. So, it was young Saint. But that's coming out music video on the 28th.
Okay, cool.
That's music. So it's just been like stuff like that.
Got the shit in motion, man.
Working hard.
What was that boy band group called in That's a Raven? Wasn't it like Boys in Motion?
Boys in Motion. We give you out.
Like we're slinging,
oh my God.
Sexualizing teens. Come on, Disney.
That was so funny. Now we've slanged the shit. Should we?
We do.
Have it slung back in the form of the entertainment news.
Now for the hottest topics.
Who's up on the chopping block first?
So, first up on the chopping block is our good Sir Russell Brand.
Of course he had to be first. I don't know. What do you think? Let's start with what you think.
Contrary to popular opinion, I'm not actually into celebrity gossip.
Right.
I pick up and come across things throughout
the show.
throughout the show and the weeks as they go by.
Yeah.
Initially, when I saw it plastered all over the news and on YouTube home screen and things, my first thought was, well, why is it that from an allegation, which goes back a decade or so,
there was 4 different women. Now there's like 9 or more, so...
Well, see, that's the thing with the whole floodgates system, the whole Me Too system, that they need one pioneer to pop out and then the floodgates open. And then investors will pull their money. So YouTube, for example, has demonetized Russell Brand's page. They've demonetized his page based off of
Did they do that to other, like, it's not because of nothing is said, it's because of the allegations.
Yeah, so the very least, is there not like some kind of laws or some procedure to these things?
Well, the police haven't, the police haven't even had the chance to step in a way, but at the same time, if you do listen to the first 4 testimonies, because basically, if one's been living under a rock, unless you've been living under a rock, he had a Dispatches episode come out about him.
Right.
Well, not an episode, documentary.
Yeah.
Highlighting these testimonies. Obviously, they're not going to show the faces. It's like Channel 4, BBC type situation with Channel 4. But what I mean is, like, in a lot of British stuff, they will hide their faces. They will even get actors to do the testimony for you. So they did that with 2 of them, I think. When you listen to the stories. Now let's just say, like, Russell Brand, back from the Amy Winehouse days, he wasn't a very good, do you know what I mean? Like, that weren't a good situation. He was meant to be a friend and stuff, but it's very mucky. And I think eventually it became a point where she was like, I've had enough of him. But, like, he's been doing shit like this for fucking, like, wild shit. I remember he does shit like, he used to, like, stand in the middle of a, like, street and, like, piss his pants on purpose. Just piss his pants, so that, like, fully drenching himself in urine outside of, like, corner shop where, like, there's kids and shit, like, going in the corner shop and people are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're sick. And he's, like, running after them, covering piss. He's like, he's a head case. He was a heroin addict. Do you know what I mean? He was, like, literally doing heroin on Channel 4. He had like, when he had made it, in a sense, and had been doing some stuff in America, his team kind of, like, put him in the Priory or some shit.
Yeah.
For, you know, took his work away and said, you're going in the Priory. And Channel 4 did, like, a documentary thing of him. And he was smoking smack on TV. Smoking brown off a bit of tin foil on fucking film. This shit you can't get away with now. People forget, like, how it was here. Even before, you know, after Watershed or whatever. And he's always been off the wall. But the thing was, it was even written into his contracts, allegedly, that, like, if he fucks around with staff, guests, he will get fired because he was known for this behaviour.
But he's a drug addict. So on earth are people expecting?
Well, here's the thing. And then he already had issues. So when he gave up the drugs,
he went to alcohol.
He had to go. No, he went to sex.
Went to sex, okay.
But this is like in a way that no respect. I mean, the respect for women is non-existent. Like just mentally, like a woman cannot have respect for women. Mentally, he has a severe depravity in that area. All his comedy, all his stand-up, and he's not funny. He's not even funny. He's just been telling the truth about his life, like.
Yeah, but then that's how you can play on other people's superiority complex.
Yeah.
Because fine, he may have more wealth or not wealth. He may have more money and assets than the person that is observing him.
Mm-hmm.
But those that feed off of the entertainment, feed off of, Russell Brand's at it again. He's a nutcase, isn't he? He's hilarious.
This is what I mean. He got rewarded for bad behaviour, promotions, namely when he was on BBC Radio 2,
right,
which is the #1 radio show.
Some would argue that it's on Top FM.
So yeah, my thing was the Jimmy Savile thing. So Jimmy Savile back then called into the show.
Okay.
Or Brand set up the call with some shit producers, and Savile's being just Jimmy Savile, sicko, and he's like, Russell Brand's, I want to meet you. And Jimmy Savile goes, well, mate, I don't meet, lads, but if you bring a girl, it's different. And Jimmy Savile's not joking here. Like, Jimmy Savile doesn't, Russell Brand's gone, well, I've got, my 20-year-old assistant, says her name, on this live on Radio 2, says her name, describes her, his voice is serious, like, because he's worshipping, he idol worships Jimmy Savile, of all people. Why? Because they're similar. He looks up to him, you know what I mean? Anyway, the call goes on and all of that. Russell Brand had bottles of piss under his radio desk, whatever. He were pissing the bottles in front of guests, and obviously staff for the radio show, and guests including minors.
Oh, God.
But the woman who managed the show on the BBC was like, one of them lads, I like this big woman, white lady, like very grimaced looking face. And and her attitude was like she get reports and pretend she never got them.
Right.
Yeah. So there's footage of him when he was with Katy Perry. He was married to her.
Yeah, it's true.
He's saying on one of our documentaries, or Louis Theroux or some shit. This was like 7 years ago, about him wanting to be a guru.
Yeah,
I like remember. Guru.
I remember that phase.
Like, you know, I want to be the new, you know, Buddha or some shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like, he's obviously started his YouTube channel, which is, I don't know if you've seen it.
No, never.
Fight the Power.
Okay.
And expose the rich and expose the this and the mainstream. Mm-hmm. And he's got this cult following of Russell Brand's one of the only celebrities speaking up. So what he does is he regurgitates stuff.
Yeah.
He just regurgitates it and uses the flambastic and the 10 million giant words in one sentence to, like, I don't know, jazz it up a bit.
Yeah.
He's never had strikes, he's never been banned, he's never been this and never been that. He's got all this stuff, he promotes his tour. And the New Age, obviously. Promoted the New Age. Yeah. And then he's like, got a cult following. But the mainstream media is the ones who protected him this whole time. Like, BBC are saying that they've never had reports. Okay, so a girl got raped, went into the police station, got a rape kit, got the samples taken, got everything taken. She was accused of blackmail. And BBC never got complaints when there's phone calls of, like, the girls not even go, like, as well as getting checked out. They'll call these representatives, and when it's like, maybe ask what you're calling for, they'll say about Russell Brand raping me, and they'll go straight through to the man and his manager. And the manager's like, he's in treatment right now. Where, you know, I'm going to call him and talk, you know, and we're going to this and that. And then they get hit with a blackmail email from the lawyer.
Wow.
This is how he does it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He tried to rape his friend, like a female woman. They'd slept together when they'd met, like, casually.
Yeah.
And it was like, whatever, once. And then he was like, work for me in my company, my production house. So she did. Nothing happened. Years went by. She worked with him. She knew other stuff was going on, but she didn't think he was like a rapist. Mm-hmm. And then there was one time in the house where the assistant had to go for something. And then, you know, he comes in a room naked. And she's like, oh, Russell, like, what are you doing? Like, get dressed. He locks the door and tries to rape her on the bed. He said the whole time, she said he had this glaze. And all the girls are talking about this glaze he gets. He gets a glaze, apparently, and then he turns into some, I don't know, other person.
Probably fueled off the drugs.
And and there's interviews of him going, but he's glazed off somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, well, they can't be making that up. That's like a body language thing. Do you know what I mean? And then she said she woke him up and he went, and he came back to life or some shit.
Have you ever heard the term crack-induced psychosis?
Right. You know what I mean? The mainstream media have covered his shit up. Channel 4 have to be investigated now because he was on their Big Brother's Big Mouth. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the one before that, Big Brother's Little Brother.
Yeah.
So he got promoted through that. Staffers doing it like same shit with staffers. There's staffers even with the mementos that he would write stuff on and give them to on the set because it's in his contract not to fuck with no one. So he's doing it secretly and like, oh mate. And the staffers are pushing young girls, this is another thing, into his like office and he'll just start wanking and like the weird shit. So long time coming, you cultists that follow his YouTube channel are like, wanted to be a guru, now he's a guru. You can't imagine the way he's raped, I'm afraid. Manifest the way he's raped.
I'm 110% paraphrasing and a lot of the information would be lost in what I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I stumbled across a Joe Rogan interview.
Oh, was he on that?
Yeah, he was on that, and
of course.
He was saying, when I stopped drinking alcohol, I got better at the chase. And then Joe Rogan goes, like, your predatory practice is impaired by alcohol. And he goes, yeah, well, I don't want to call it predatory practices, it's maximizing potentials.
And the Times have got a podcast clip of him admitting to raping someone.
No way.
He goes, oh, and by the way, I raped someone once. Literally. I'm making jokes about it. The host goes, oh, she'll never tell. In front of a crowd of people. And then talking about, all weird shit. Like, he's dumb. He's done it for a long time. He's got no talent. What does he do? He's some geezer from Essex. Like, he's pretending to be Jack Sparrow, cosplaying Jack Sparrow 24/7. His old assistants call him like an artist who's obsessed with himself. If you want his attention, talk to him about yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he won't listen to you.
Really?
One woman said when she first met him as an assistant, first day or whatever, he weren't listening to her. She got a picture that he was signing or whatever off the table, and he literally turned, like, paid attention to her. And then, oh, you get me?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, fucking hell. That's a whole narcissist. That ain't even narcissistic traits. That's a narcissist.
Is it bad for me to think, even if it's true, don't all swarm to cut off the funding and all of this and that before there's a conviction?
Well, here's the thing. It's not based on conviction. Like, these are jobs that he's communicating to the public. That's broadcasting 101. So it's not even about, oh, he's this and that. Maybe companies, sponsors will be like, why do we want a rapist being our spokesperson? Totally understand that as well. And then as far as like all of this, like, it doesn't matter what happens in the media and what happens in his sponsorships or his business. What matters is that the police are involved. And they're involved now because MPs are calling for it.
Oh, dear.
MPs are like, when the MPs say, yeah, we think this guy needs to be dealt, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
When they read the newspaper that morning, get together and go, we're having some of him.
Yeah.
You know?
It's funny. You know? It's funny how the paedophile witch hunt works, because there's those that are untouchable. Well,
yeah.
Untouchable within their decade or their era. And then there are those that kind of lambs to the slaughter, so to say.
Yeah.
And how and where do they differentiate between those they can go for and those they can't go for? Like,
when you give yourself away too much. Do you know what I mean? When it's complete, like, completely, they know. It's like, if you're out there, it's like a Bill Cosby. If you're out there, it's hard to get them. They can lie there through their teeth, like, it's hard to get them. So once they give themselves up, when there's footage, like 15 years worth of footage of him telling on himself, he wrote a book. And because it came out in 2005 or some shit, again, when people were like, oh, gossip, Britney's getting abused left, right, and centre, them days.
Yeah.
He's written all sorts of his shit book. It's not aged well. He said a lot of shit in his book alone that is criminal. Do you know what I mean? So he's just an idiot, and he's been protected, and everyone's like, we can't protect you now. So the MPs are like, he's vulnerable. Get him. But the police who are getting involved are involved, so.
Well,
it's none of my business after that.
I guess we'll be waiting to see when the hot news comes, if it does.
Yeah, 9 women that I last heard. That could be, who knows now.
Fair enough. Shall we proceed to the next topic?
And give them what they need. Remy Mama has
proved...
trouble in paradise.
Yes. And oh dear.
I mean, she was in jail for a long time, guys. She's not into the regime. Well, she's not into that. So, you know, she really did wait.
Papoose waited for her that whole time she was in jail.
He did, he did the right thing. That's it, doing the right thing. You never get anything for doing the right thing in this world. Never. Never. That's the point. I'm not validating if she's done that. Like, it's good or nothing.
Well, Papoose got into physical
confirmed?
altercation behind stage. He battered someone.
Oh, who?
Battered them.
Does he look like Papoose, the guy she slept with? Allegedly. Don't sue us.
Allegedly. Let me find out. Bear with me. What I will say is I've been happily enjoying the hypocrisy on Twitter, and I refuse to call it by the name that it's changed to.
Yeah, same.
Fuck it. I can't be bothered to find out names and that. It all came out in a battle rap thing, because, you know, Papoose is still a battle rapper.
Oh, sure, it's money, innit?
Yeah. And, backstage he went and battered this guy, bloody, but there's been no criminal proceedings as of yet. But, yeah, the hypocrisy of the genders. Should I even be saying it? No, fuck it. I am what I am. I think the way that I think, between, you know, the male and female narrative.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So the females are out here saying, well, what do they expect? You got to level up. You got to do better.
Who they saying that to?
They're saying that to Remy Ma.
We'll level up from what?
From Pap.
To what?
To whatever gamble that it is they take. Like, let's.
Who she meant to date next? Who's what?
Let's go off on a tangent.
Even though Shanti's had to get back with Nelly. Who do you think's out here that is for Remy Ma? Like, who?
It's true.
The fuck?
In terms of the age, I think she's old school enough that she's not gonna...
She was in a time capsule for 10 years. She came out to the new phones and shit. I was like, bitch.
Yeah, Uber? That's true. A little case of perjury in that.
You know? She was like, I'm in the motherfucking future.
Man, she probably did it. Fuck it.
Probably. I'm not mad for some reason. I'm not.
Why not?
She was in jail for 10 years.
So?
I mean, like, that's
how many guys? How many
do
guys?
something different, maybe even once.
How many guys go to jail for 10 years? Come out.
Yeah, but they're doing stuff.
So are women.
To break the illusion.
No, so are women.
Women are more women. I know men are known to be homophobic. Women are more homophobic than men. When a woman says, "I don't like women," they will look at you in your eye and say, "Bitch, I don't like women." Like, they don't even want to be mixed up with that.
Nah,
women that the women are different than men. You got to remember, men are hornier, and that's why they fuck anything.
No, they are not.
Women they really got to be a lesbian.
No way. No way.
There's girls that are like, because women are just like always sexualized.
Rebuke it.
There's women porn stars that are like, I don't even like women, but it makes me money or whatever they say, because they ain't got bonus. All they've got to do is lie there and scissor each other.
No, sorry. Anecdotal from the women that I've come across. So, it's ranging. It is ranging. I will admit that it is ranging.
Right.
But generally speaking, every single person, man, woman, has an exception to the rule, and that exception to the rule, under those circumstances, they're going to play away. How many?
I think women rarely get orgasms, so they're not even pleasure seekers when it comes to sex. It's about intimacy for them, right? What intimacy? They don't want to get off me. They're like, to the woman, like, oh, fuck off me. Like, a woman, you've got to really like the vagina as a woman to be getting down in prison with a woman. You just do. Like, I don't know why. Men will stick it in anything.
There's no statistics.
They say you don't look at a mantle when you poke in the fireplace.
There's no statistics on how many women would let another woman go down on them, because
I mean, I ain't looked.
In their rationing, if they're not doing it, and it's a matter of, oh, this woman wants to get off and me, I'm doing a long stretch.
Give out or whatever.
Yeah, so there's no denying that Remy Ma may have had a little fun in there, or they've made a dildo out of the soap.
She'll punch a bitch in the face if she tried to do it.
Looks can be so deceiving.
Respect alone.
Looks can be so deceiving. I worked with someone that was, now, no disrespect to that person, just in case you hear this. She was like 6'2", for the US listeners, for the US listeners, like 360 pounds. For the Europeans,
that means nothing to me.
For the Europeans and the British,
stones.
She was about 25 stones. Big bird. When I tell you, this person, I used to speak to them real harsh and real like, yeah, nah, cool off, like we do, and she would cry. This individual was bullied by service users.
Oh,
so
traumatized.
In appearance, you would think bitch, you think, yeah, you're tough, right? You look the part.
Tough, right, bitch? Like, no.
Yeah, and no, super sensitive. It took me.
Looks gonna be deceiving.
It took me months to adjust to how feminine she actually was and how gentle I had to be speaking to her to motivate her and get her to adjust. And strongly adopted from the Jamaicans that I've rubbed shoulders with. Is me not trust people, you know. So Remy Ma, you cheated, you didn't cheat. So I know very well people are capable of everything, and they
black women don't cheat.
Black women don't cheat. You're gonna protect them. Even when they inject saline into the sides of their face, wear a balaclava, pull it off and allege that they've been bricked.
Don't. Yeah, but she's Ethiopian. People would argue. Are you even black, bitch?
Oh my god!
Why did they do that to them? That's
my god! No, she's Somalian. Don't forget that.
They say that about Somalians too.
But let's face it. All right, cool. Here is my sweeping, generalizing opinion that a lot of the northern and eastern African countries are gonna dislike a lot.
Yeah.
From you are born on the continent of Africa. You are African.
You are African.
So,
even if you are white with ginger hair, you are African.
You are African.
Yes.
Right? You might not be a nigger.
There's Indian people you ask, where you from? And they're from Africa.
Yeah.
Their families lived there for 5 years.
Exactly. Especially in Kenya. I met an Indian gentleman when I was doing slave work, you know, a bit of construction work.
Right.
I was a bricklayer's assistant. My job was literally carry bricks from point A to point B. No skill, no respect, proper.
Okay.
At one point,
say something like that.
At one point, the lads on that construction site were calling me Moses. Yeah, Moses.
Oh, the Hebrew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm telling
Father
you,
Moses.
if you believe you've experienced racism in the UK, please go and work a construction job where you rub shoulders with, you know, the working class whites.
Yes.
The uncouth.
The uncouth.
And I promise you, your eyes will be open. You would go and work in an office and say, oh, this is wonderful. Like subversive, subversive racism.
Yeah.
Really sly, not really out there.
Not just knocked to my face. He catch these hands.
Oh, yes. I've gone way off topic.
But Remy Ma is free to let go, forgiven.
Yeah. Black women do nothing wrong.
I don't feel like her and him will never really separate. He's mad, he's whatever. Like, they'll get back together, they're fine.
Apparently
just don't do it again.
Apparently there's divorce talks. Like, there was no Father's Day. There was no Father's Day wishes. He posted a picture of himself and his 4 children on Father's Day.
Again, a man could cheat on a woman 10 times. That same man will say to the woman the one time, bitch, how dare you? I never want to see you again.
The difference between cheating amongst men and women is that women know that them cheating, getting out to their social networks, their friends and family,
women
will look worse. It will look so much worse. So women care that no one finds out.
Yeah.
Whereas men have a certain sloppy, I don't actually care whether this gets out or not.
It's a cry for help.
So I personally wouldn't say it's a cry for help.
It looks like it when they're not trying to cover up the tracks. They're leading you straight to it. To be like, I'm unhappy. It's like, you could have just said it, bitch.
It's people that aren't. Because 9 times...
just tell me, bitch, what the fuck's going on? And the man will be like, bitch, I'm going out right now.
How many people on one hand can you say, they can handle the truth of communicating clearly with another human being?
Well, it ain't gone well for me. You know what I mean? When it comes to that.
There we go. Most people cannot handle another person's truth. They cannot handle it.
Yeah.
So, of course you're going to cheat. Like 9 times out of 10, how many people in relationships, if they could turn to their partner or significant other, because we live in that...
cheat day.
Yeah, because we live in that world, and be able to say to them, do you know what? I settled with you because it was cheaper to keep you, and I go out regularly to go and fuck the baddies that I would never have a future with, but I see myself having a future with you, so I lock you down and play away from home here and there. But the play away from home that I do is solely for my own mental health and well-being, and for me to remain in tip-top shape. It is no disrespect to you, but you will take it as disrespect because there is an emotional investment, whereas I trade my time, finances, and physical presence for your emotional fulfillment.
Got you. But what if it's the first time she cheated ever?
No, it's not.
Do you know what I mean? Do I say it is the first time ever? She didn't even know she was a cheater.
It's not.
Until that moment when the dick went in, she's like,
It's not.
She's like, I just found out something new about myself.
It's not. I think their marriage has been 10 years, but their relationship is like 15 to 20.
People change after prison, man.
Is not. Imagine
you
get to see sunlight for like 1 hour every 23 hours.
Finger you every 2 minutes.
Trust me.
People trying to fight for cigarettes.
And Remy, bless her, she's a big bitch. They're gonna want her.
Money.
They're gonna want her.
Yeah, this is a fair joke.
Oh, they put Terror Squad up in the wing.
Same with the brat. When the brat went to prison, I was like, oh Lord. But
she would have had a field day.
Yeah, but she said the best day in prison was when Mariah Carey went to visit her. Yeah. And all the guards that usually treat her like shit was being on all that. And it was like, oh my God, Mariah Carey.
She brought in the legend. She brought in the squeak.
Stunning on her.
In there. She's in the back of the prison. Getting licked out by 5 lesbians. 5 butch lesbians.
Look that way. Look at that.
Why are you so obsessed with me? Yeah. Right.
That's that topic.
Fuck it, Remy Ma. Oh, well, there you go. Oprah and The Rock. Should I say The Cock? Allegedly. So, I think we might have touched on this a few weeks ago.
I don't think we did. I can't
remember us talking about the fires and...
No.
Was that in conversation?
Wait, I can't remember. But do you know what? Like, I love the fact that they went on camera and said...
We're going to fundraise.
No, they said, we're going to guarantee 10 million of your dollars, of your money to the wildfires. What to do? What though? You're gonna do there to do what? Did you say is it to feed people? Is it to put the fires out? Or is it to buy land? What is it? Like, what are you doing here?
They're not going to buy land. They are going to...
You're a billionaire, Orpa, because that's your real name, Orpa. You're a billionaire, and you could have missed the 10 million. You could have put five with the rock, you know what I mean, and come up with that. And said, you guys match it, at least. Gift Aid will give you at least 25% of that matched. You know what I mean? Or depends.
Oprah Winfrey alone could have saved Hawaii from her save.
Probably cost that just for the groundskeeping on one of her mansions.
Yeah, she could have saved Hawaii. Full stop. Like, say, right, I'm getting 20 helicopters in, bucket loads of water. Yeah. Let's get this out. Let's get this fire sorted. But
she's the one that closed that gate off to her ranch or whatever when there was wildfires last time somewhere. She owned a big, massive land in a road, and it cuts through, and usually it's like whatever, but she closed it. Mm-hmm. And also, why'd you do that? She didn't have an explanation.
Why would she?
She don't need to give one.
Of course not.
Because she's in one of her mansions tucked away.
In terms of who is poor to her, the majority of the world's population is poor.
Yeah.
Poor lives do not matter.
No.
Poor lives do not matter. And I'm going to upset some people by saying poor lives don't matter.
The poll fell.
Yeah. But it doesn't. It's just like that saying a couple, I don't know how many shows.
It matters if you give it matter. If you give it, meaning.
If you have life insurance. Yeah. Well, when it comes to police gunning you down,
you better have some life insurance.
You better have some life insurance.
They better have that somewhere up in there, at least for the Americans, at least.
Well, most of the Americans that are gunned down by police don't have life insurance.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll switch that shit off. Oh, he had a gun. He pushed me on the off button with the gun and then shot at me, and I shot him.
Yeah, Oprah and The Rock. There's just I don't like either one of them. They're both shady as fuck.
Yeah.
There's a whole Rolodex of shit on them. Just, can't be bothered really to get into, because I just don't like folks.
Of course, it's mostly alleged.
They just act like people are stupid, and I'm just like, oh, this is so 90s. Like, go away. We're not in the 90s no more. People aren't that transparent.
To be fair with you, more often than not, people are stupid. I'm seeing
it's
that.
The youngsters who are like, hold on, what?
No.
The Gen Zers or whatever. They're like, they're big say, what? My money? Not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan. I let Jesus take
Free the kids. That's all I got to say.
Free the kids.
Free the kids. Okay, next topic is energy lasers Hawaii.
Yeah.
Why does this always happen?
That's when you know we're on a good show.
Topics at random, guys.
A good show is where the conversation just seems to flow into the right way.
God's on our side. How about that?
Now, the conspiracy is that governments around the world have said nuclear warfare isn't going to assure our dominance. So, it's going to be the Star Wars project. It's going to be lasers from space, high-powered energy waves that can be pinpointed and start a fire.
Yeah.
So clips
This has been talked about for at least 20 years, isn't it? Like
40
in books,
or so. The Reagan,
like people theories and
the Reagan administration started the whole Star Wars project.
Yeah.
Where initially it was set up a base on the moon that would be able to direct high power energy, and then that was
because they've been working in space for a very long time, and people like, oh, it's so annoying because when you say stuff like this, it's like people are, hold on, what? But no, like real like astrophysicists, like people write books, like they're books about science and about things and stories and whatever, and some of them are 20, 30 years old.
Well, how about you tell us those jokes about the Indian space landing you didn't want to tell us last week?
No.
If I'm going down, let's go down together.
No, don't. But it's like, but it's true. They've been working this space for a long time. You know what I mean? Like they just have what they choose to tell the public is really up to them. What they choose to tell you, whether you believe it or not, is completely like it's your choice, free will. Literally, who asked you to trust the news? Who asked you to trust the government? Nobody requires that. It's not asked of, and it's not definitely not provided. Yeah. So where this is what I'm saying? Like, are they a government that we look up to? Are they the government we look up to, or are they our civil servants? Which one is it? Still confused here, because as far as I last checked, they were our civil servants.
Well, that's only in theory. That isn't in practice.
The UK.
in the UK, where we are.
America, I don't know about you guys, you're a republic, so.
Well, funnily enough, they're still referred to as civil servants in the US, but
Yeah, copycat killers.
Copycat
killer.
The US is slightly different because of, manifest destiny and the fact that
Make it up as you go.
most of their principles and civil liberties were assured for Anglo-Saxon natives to America, to the US. Which, that term, does it really even make sense considering how can you be an Anglo-Saxon native of the US?
Unless you're mixed with native and Anglo-Saxon.
God forbid.
Then you're an Anglo-Saxon native.
God forbid. Look at
God forbid.
Isn't it funny how Kamala Harris has faded away?
Don't like that.
Although she was like the first native vice president. She's Native American.
What's it, Indian?
Kamala, but she's native.
I don't even know. That whole administration's sickening to me.
Sleepy Joe.
Sickening to me.
Is he still president?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's ridiculous. Same as that fucking Rishi Sunak is our prime minister. It's like, what? Like, what? No, you're not.
Hold fire. Hold fire, because he is one of the topics, and
oh, is he? Oh,
and I am sure that the matter of Rishi will come up in perfect timing. It will come up in perfect timing. So, actually, should we gamble it and move on to the next subject?
By the energy weapons, yeah. So basically, the theory is the wildfires are started to perpetuate stuff like
grab.
it's a land grab. It's taking back the land. This is actually happening in Hawaii. There are not like, again, there's no news on it being like false flag, but land is being taken from the people there, and the excuses are for rebuilding, for memorials. But yeah, they didn't forget to turn on the alarm system, one of the best in the world for the Hawaiians. They actually admitted that it was a choice not to.
Mm-hmm.
And there were children missing. No one knows what the kids are. You know what I mean? Then you've got the rock owner, Oprah, up here talking about spending your money to do who knows what.
You should probably check in their basements and storage units.
They just it's mad when you see videos of testimonies of what the Hawaiians are going through and stuff. It's insane. It's like they're basically doing up Hawaii. Would you say the beast is feasting on the lamb?
Yes, unfortunately, there was no blood of the lamb on their doorways.
Mahalo.
Hawaii. Hawaii. Do you know what? Drugs are for mugs, but this show is liquor induced.
Hawaii, it's like the tropical paradise bit.
Oh, it's not.
Have you ever watched Dog the Bounty Hunter?
I have. I was gonna. Listen.
It exposes Hawaii for something else, bro. The ice.
Half the population's on ice. You're on ice, bro.
It's so funny though, Hawaiians, as personalities.
Wait, hold on.
That type
is Dog dead? Is it Dog that died, or is it his missus? She was a bitch though.
Yeah.
She was actually a bitch. When I was watching the shows,
smart,
I was like, oh, this.
She has to be.
This is Delilah. The copy and paste Delilah. Take it from the...
He's married someone else. And then he was called being racist or some shit.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
And the granddaughter don't speak to him because apparently she just don't agree with a lot of the old school shit that he says. And most likely she means racism. So, she's like, fuck that.
Like, niggers is one half, no, 1/5 of a man. 1/5. Do you know how much of a percentage?
I know, they're just fucking ridiculous. A fifth, bitch, what?
See, I'm lucky enough, well, to the Caucasian listeners, I'm cursed enough, but to the fellow niggers like me, I'm lucky enough to be what they call... it don't even matter. I'm lucky enough to just be an outright nigger. And
oh, you mean a purist? Oh, did you know there's people? So I've heard of this guy. I've never once seen a proper thing of his called Dr. Umar, and he's some motherfucking American.
I am aware of the Right Honourable Dr. Umar.
You know what I mean? And he walks around telling people, "Don't mix, like turning black people off from mixing with other races and stuff. Now, I discovered some certain black folk growing up who are very much of the same mind, in the sense of they just didn't agree with the existence, I guess, of mixed race people. They didn't agree with mixing. They blame a lot of things on statistics of mixed relationships not lasting or whatever, which isn't true. They're all myths. Even our mixed, whatever, my parents' relationship didn't end because of race. It had nothing to do with race. It's a mixed household, so race isn't an issue. Clearly, it's not an issue. There might be disparities and learning curves, but it's not an issue because clearly their hearts are open enough to not give a fuck or not take on whatever the standards of racism that Western society or into the world society has. It's great being mixed, you know what I mean? It's not great in a lot of ways, but it's like great in more ways than I would say negative, in the sense of like being able to relate to many people. There's nothing bad about it. You know what I mean? So it's literally like this purist talk that black people are going to run out. That's just the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. Yes, there have been many attempts to erase black people. Has it worked?
Quite well in South America.
Which actual race has been extinctified? Out of all the 7 races of like the seven rings.
This is the 7 rings of power.
You know, of power. Well, you know, the 7 races or whatever. There may be more, but
when you start looking at society, or if you look at like very specific controlled environments,
yeah,
I know this is a sensitive topic, and I don't mean to offend, but
what they need to do is just stay out of people's business in the sense of like, why, what?
I always had this question in my head, right? I do know some. And when I say some,
I mean, there's
actually,
Indian people that don't want to mix. There's white people, obviously, are very well known for not wanting to mix.
See,
Everyone don't want to mix, but it's very offensive to mix with people. Forget we exist.
I'll say that the Indian approach to mixing
is religious.
It's not even religious. It's the worst in that they are more accepting of mixing with whites than mixing
white colonialism.
Yeah, than mixing with blacks or God. I don't think I've actually met a mixed like Indian, South Asian,
and black,
and Chinese.
Chinese.
I've met those that are mixed with Blackanese.
You never met a Blackanese person?
I've met a Blackanese person, but the Blackanese person, the Chinese half of their family, don't fuck with them.
Yeah, see,
they would do something.
Yeah. The families have a problem. Sorry, traditionally in mixed race relationships, interracial, whatever they want to call it. Sounds like a porn genre.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Interracial relationships.
Some of the best porn you'll ever come across.
You know, the families don't agree, but that's the point. They literally get disowned to start a new family, a new thing of accept, like to have mixed kids who have no way but to accept all of themselves, regardless of. I mean, we have to. It's a rite of passage for mixed race people only. To discover your full self. It takes years. It takes decades. It takes whatever.
I did always approach very carefully, but there was always that element of, okay, how does it work?
And we're treated differently, all of us.
That I know.
Varied.
That I know.
It's not varied for black people, white people. It's not varied for no one else but us.
See, this is why there is an element of pacification for me.
Yeah.
Because in the society that I live in, I know I'm going to be treated the way that I've always been.
Yeah.
There isn't going to be a vetting process to kind of see, are you more Caucasian swaying or are you
I can lie and get away with it. I can lie, just lie.
I can't.
The reason people ask me all the time, what are you? Is because they can't tell. They go through all the races in their head and they can't tell. So they ask.
Hopefully this never lands into the palms.
And it depends on, again, skin colour. I'm adapted, I can adapt that way. Get dark, get light, whatever. Don't matter.
Sunshine.
You know what I mean? Like, literally. Yes. So, but there's mixed race people like who can't do that. They are one colour, they're dark skinned. Or they are one colour, they're pale. That's it. They don't change ever. I'm not one of them.
I do have some empathy for them because in my let me not take.
They've got something solid to stick to, so they can relate to you because you're darker, and then the pale one can relate to like lighter people because they're just always like, I can go up and down, so I ain't got no one to cling to. It depends on the time of the year.
Yeah, but you know the clickbaiting. Well, it's not clickbaiting, but the baiting questions.
Yeah.
There's the follow-up questions of, so how is that separated up? Like, which of your parents is an excuse?
Well, they usually go,
can you put an extra warning?
Annoying.
Can we put an extra warning for this show?
Okay, in the beginning.
Yeah, because I've used the word nigger like 3 or 4 times already, but
this is black.
Okay, well, it will matter in the future.
Oh, right. Okay.
It will matter in the future because the way that the direction that society is going into, this particular show is not going to age well.
Okay.
The baiting questions that people ask, particularly the straight whites and the straight blacks, is which of your parents was black? Which of your parents was white? And then they formulate an opinion of how accepting they'll be based on that.
So my just names will get bleeped out as usual. So my cousin, she passes for white. She's very, I don't know if you've seen the picture, she's very pale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the black one. So her mum is dark skinned. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, again, it's one of them ones. And people literally, she's like, I come out of a black vagina. Like, she literally is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But fine, no one would know that off face value.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where, again, we're in a tricky situation. Mixed people are just in a tricky situation. You know what I mean? A lot of times it's complimentary. They're like, oh, like, especially when you say like St. Lucian, they expect like Jamaican or they expect Asian. But St. Lucian, they're like, oh. It costs a lot of money to go to St. Lucia to even see the place. So, yeah, even that, it's a bit like fetish. You know what I mean? It's a bit like, oh, you're perving off me because I'm mixed. That's weird. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, it's a personal choice.
They do.
Personal choice.
They do.
But I've seen it, like, it happens all the time.
No,
Black people do it. White people do it to me.
You've got to acknowledge that people do perv because they're white. I've seen it.
I mean, black people are usually the only ones who can tell what I am, not what I am, like where I'm from, but they can tell. They used to see mixed people, or they used to seeing whites call quadroons.
Quadroons?
Yeah, quarter caste, which is obviously an offensive term in itself. There's black people that will disown quarter caste people, which is when a mixed person mixes with white. The mix of any other race is not quarter caste. The mix of white, and black people will say, no, you're too white now. They don't consider you black. Well, white people have a name for them. It's called quadroon. The one for mixed races is similar to quadroon.
Isn't it mulatto?
Mulatto is like an Italian thing. Okay. That was Italian, that travelled. You know what I mean? Okay. Half caste, offensive. You know what I mean? That's a white made term, you know.
But that's
judging and cursing the dark side.
That's based off of the old 1800 caste system, right? Yeah. Where, you know, caste, you're half caste, then you're this or that because, okay, cool. See,
because the term is biracial, like no one knows what to call us either.
The triggering,
say biracial.
Here's the triggering thing.
Multiracial, technically. So
here's the triggering thing I was going to say earlier that I held off on it and asked for a warning before we got into the show. Is how do you bring up your children as, and this is really specific,
as a mixed race person,
like let's say the parent of a mixed race child. So let's say you've got, ooh, this is gonna fucking hurt and sting. I really hope I'm not making a mistake.
It's like when a cat adopts a dog. I don't know.
There you go. But how do you bring? How do you bring it up?
That you're a dog or a cat. They just
imagine if you got like two dogs, two cats. Yeah, and
you know, some for bad reasons. That's with the care system in general, though. That's not just because of race.
That
an extra celebrity.
No,
yeah,
this ain't for the podcast.
It's like
it's not for the podcast.
Well, no, they do like whose daughter? I want Sandra Bullock. You can tell that's not no creepy shit. That's her daughter. I don't know about the Madonna shit. Don't want to get into the Angelina Jolie shit. You know what I mean? Like Sandra Bullock, that's her daughter. Do you know what I mean? But how do you raise a mixed race person? I don't know.
I mean,
we learn from both sides.
Within a household, if you've got mixed race children, followed by or preceded by children of, I don't know what the right term is to say, but a singular ethnic minority.
Oh, you mean the siblings are white and then a one mixed kid?
Yeah, or
that's the
siblings
hard part.
are black and
that's
then
the hard. Yeah. I worry for them people.
So do I. Like
that weren't my situation. I just looked different from my siblings.
I don't know how to rationalize
it. Let's just put it that way.
It's like the black sheep. You know, we might not actually be able to put this show out. It would have to go on Patreon
or America only or some shit. I don't know.
The triggers in this is wild. This conversation.
Though we can get away with a lot because who what? Do you know what I mean?
You can
at least on Asia. Whites and the blacks.
No, you can, but in the words of Jay-Z, I'm still a nigger. So,
well, how about I am? What's the word? Co-stamp every line in every sentence.
I'm gonna have to have you repeat every single thing that I say. So right. When they find an issue, which they will,
get on it. The lawyers,
the tractors will find an issue. But I feel like, you know what? This might have to be a conversation we have on Patreon. Separately.
Yeah, that'd be good actually. Yeah.
Just really, not to say, oh, let's hash it out, because there isn't an issue to hash out.
No, it's more like discovery.
Yeah, it's how do we resolve this?
Yeah. Well, the mixed race people population has gone way up.
Of course.
Again, it's the nature of things. I don't, again, it take a long time. But if you think about it, evolutionary terms, sorry, everyone will end up mixed. That's the point.
In very
Everyone. So,
in a very, very, very blunt.
however,
way.
here's the thing: you could gather up all the dark skin mixed race people and just call them black.
Of course.
And gather up all the light skin mixed race people and call them white. We're never going to run out of the races. We
course
just
not.
get acknowledged as whatever you look like. So we're all mixed, most likely already now. We just.
The race is the race.
But I don't know what it's like to be a monoracial person. I've no idea. Don't know what that's like for you lot. To be one thing, no idea.
Well, to be
Culturally or
to
ethnically.
be fair with you, before my burns, I wasn't this complexion.
I thought you were going to say you weren't just one person. You had like an Israeli graft.
No. Before my burns, I wasn't this complexion, and I wasn't kind of, how do I say, embraced with this complexion.
Right.
Before that,
Yeah, you tanned before.
Yeah, before that one particular holiday, I was not
Yeah.
what you'd say. Oh, that is definitely a Senegalese, a Malian. You know, no. I was not. I
No.
was not that. I look back on my childhood pictures and I'm like,
People think you're Jamaican.
me,
Or, yeah, I would say Jamaican or Haitian.
Mike.
And because French as well. You could go to St. Lucia and pass for St. Lucian.
Really?
Completely.
Well,
Yeah.
my lifestyle as a comedian will begin today.
It's expensive plane ticket, but once a day is pretty cheap. So do you know what I mean? As long as you're not living in like sandals or some shit.
Oh.
Or the most expensive in place in Cassidy's, you know.
I did watch a documentary about how, well, it's not about how they live out there.
Yeah.
I watched Ross Kemp on Gangs, and he went to St. Lucia,
Okay.
and it was going down over there, like headshots and all sorts. But
Yep.
I'm adverse to a bit of gang culture and gun crime and, you know, the old 2-on-2.
If they did one of those "Who Are You" shows on me, they'd find a lot of that in my, you know, my parentage. But hey, that's life.
That is long.
Big up to St. Lucia.
Oh, man. This is a bit of a nasty jump. Cindy Crawford versus Oprah.
Opa.
So
Look lad. Papa.
Oprah had a bit of a fraudulent slip and somewhat let it out that she found Cyndi Lauper to be rather, you know, attractive, and used the words such as groom to describe how Cyndi Lauper is presented by her father during an interview in 1984.
I think it was her TV show.
It was a TV show on the Oprah Winfrey Show, right? Yeah. Okay. No problem. And as far as I'm concerned, categorically, fuck all the nonsense with no Vaseline. You know, just why can't they just put them all on the nonce island, like a nice little nonce island where there's no children, there's no teens. They literally just no.
Australia. No, in New Zealand.
That's what Australia was, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, didn't it?
Tribunals Island. And now look at them today. They won't even let a single grain of rice get through their borders because
They've got to keep like 10 TV shows about that.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Is it when the scum find pride? Do you know what? Let me keep on ranting about that because that's something quite
Cut
close
that
to
out,
home.
cut that.
Where the fuck did they get off being an imprisonment island that has now decided, oh no, actually, we are going to be the US of the South Pacific?
They're going like full New World Order over there, allegedly. Oh, let me make sure I remember my Vex moment as well. So, I've seen videos of pregnant women getting arrested for Facebook posts in Australia, like full SWAT team.
Excuse me?
SWAT team.
What for saying?
Her husband was actually in shock. He didn't even know what to do. He literally froze, and she was handcuffed and dragged out.
Really?
Yep. Like Australia are full they'll play in your face like, we're Australia. We paid the highest wage in the world, you know, or whatever. And look at our Bondi beaches and whatever the fuck. And our Sydney Opera House. And they're like fucking ruthless.
Let me just highlight two.
Oh, and some of the sickest paedophile Satanist stories in my lifetime that I've heard, and even testimonials. Australia is the most depraved. Like, depraved. Don't know why, but like, sick.
I know, I'm pretty sure that other people have said this elsewhere, but my experience of having a male child and a female child taught me two things. One, taught me that I was willing to kill for one particular child, and the other taught me that I'm willing to die for the other.
Ooh.
So, please, please, please do not compromise everyone's mental health by approaching me with a situation concerning my children or concerning children that will kick that instinct in. Because I shit you not when I say,
Machete con luz.
hey, I am very, very capable. Now, it's not a threat. It is not a threat. It is simply just a clear boundary in that where I put my spiritual, emotional, and psychological protection, mess with that, you've got a problem on your hands. Even adults.
That's one of the areas in life, as man or whatever, woman, that you're validated is when it comes to the children. Okay, hold on, you did that. Why? The kids. Oh, right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're free to go.
Because I'm telling you right now, if I decide to go to war over the protection of a loved one, a cared for one, or a considered one, it's a problem. Yeah. It is a problem.
As it should be. You know what I mean? And it's weird growing up. I grew up that way. So it's weird growing up in a world now that don't hold those values, because I feel like it wasn't just my family that was like that. They were maybe a hardcore version of it. But like in general, back in the same 90s and stuff, it was like that. You fuck with mine, listen, you should worry about who this person knows or who this person's connected to, or even if they're random in the street, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like there was that smartness about people, and now they're just reckless.
Absolutely. I am so shocked. Don't know whether I should make this a Vex segment.
Yeah, so my mic was the wrong way around. Oh, that's better. It looks better now. On screen, it looks better. Yeah, my mic was the wrong way round this episode, so it's fixed. So, yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, sorry about that, but it's
someone's getting fired.
It's still fuck you.
Yeah,
because after all, we're all people. We all shit. We all piss. And frankly, I couldn't care about your social status.
Oop.
Could not.
So fuck your status, bitch.
Could not give a donkey's. So, because of the slight disruption, I think 2 people should be fired.
Yes.
And we should move on to the next topic.
One's quivering in the corner. You know, hiding from the shopping block.
The Vexxed Uncensored sweatshop.
Yes. Who was next?
Okay. Well, let's go back to the scammers.
Okay.
DJ Envy. It's DJ Envy.
DJ Envy.
So, DJ Envy's name.
Oh.
It's a strike.
It's a strike.
So,
DJ Envy.
DJ Envy and another one of his fellow
cohorts. Yeah.
Has been scamming investors.
Oh, I haven't heard of this.
So, for about 2 to 3 years, DJ Envy has been introducing a particular Latino individual as, you know, real estate guy. And
so his cohort is Latino.
Yes, his cohort is Latino. I need to find his name.
Go and listen to the new single time on 28th September.
Cesar Pina. Cesar Pina was featured on the Breakfast Show before it was dissolved.
Ooh.
And
wait, it ain't been dissolved.
Yeah, it has.
No. Angela Yee just moved to her own show. And now they have the girl, you know, chair is rotated between like various women celebrities.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not the Breakfast Show, is it?
And they played like they were going to hire someone. And everyone was like, oh, Claudia Jordan or Just Hilarious are the best. Or Tamar Braxton. But they ain't hired no one. They're just switching them out every week still. It's been like months.
Well, that's not the Breakfast Show, is it?
Well, it's still the Breakfast Club. It's called their show. They're like, how 3-hour slot or whatever.
By name?
Because it's syndicated.
Oh, right. Well, here's my opinion.
She just got Angela Yee's show or something now.
Here's my opinion that no one's going to care about, but I'm still going to put it out there. If it isn't the tried and true trio...
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
No. Because as far as I've seen, all the women are scared to ask the questions when the celebrities come in, because they're celebrities themselves. They ain't got that same zing.
Yeah. Whereas Angela Yee... Remember some of her most iconic statements? Oh, well, you know...
She could get away with a lot.
Yeah. The time that she told Gucci Mane, you know...
Latino who was she trying to fuck? Pussy. Oh, it was Gucci Mane. And he was married or something.
Hmm?
But yeah, she showed her ass. This is what, 10 years they were on that show or something.
Exactly. Put some people...
They're every day just going into a radio show. You know what I mean? It was fun back then because they weren't as famous.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm like, you know what? Cool. For sure.
It was the power of 3.
But yes, Cesar Pina.
Cesar.
convicted felon from Newark, New Jersey,
Newark
has been defrauding, scamming investors to the tune of $51 million.
Oh, I thought it was going to be some 30 grand.
No, perpetuated by his endorsements from...
And what was it? Real estate?
Real estate, yes. So flipping houses. You know the culture of, give me 100,000
yeah.
and I'll give you a 30% return.
When years ago, or weren't you doing that? Like them flip your house seminars, how the people...
Yes, he was. Yes.
Slideshow, PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, and those
£50 a ticket.
Those seminars, well, actually, people were paying $500 and upwards to be in those seminars. So those seminars turned out to become more of an opportunity to get closer to Caesar, who would then take your investment money.
Right.
And after a few dodgy dealings, fraudulent dealings, claiming to be purchasing properties, which some of the properties he didn't own at the time, but he said, yeah, we're investing on so and so.
They lied.
Yeah. Now, DJ Envy may or may not be in a bit.
50 million is the working system as far as they're concerned. Do you know what I mean? This is raked in the cash.
Yeah.
But is it still on the Breakfast Club every day?
Yeah, because I guess it isn't one of those... It's not like a Russell Brand crime.
Do they put themselves on the topics? Like we do sometimes?
They don't. So, DJ Envy is alleged by Anthony Barone and Anthony Martini that DJ Envy was complicit in defrauding them out of 1.5 million over an apartment complex project that never materialized.
Oh, wow.
This particular apartment
complex, I'm coming for you if it's over $1 million.
Yeah, this
for sure coming for you. Your head.
So what they would do is they'll say, so Cesar Pina would say,
Colada.
You're going to get a 30% return within 5 months. When that
for renting out the complex.
Yeah, so it's like, it's derelict, we're buying it.
All the security deposits.
Yeah, but then would happen is more akin to a kind of pyramid scheme where when Cesar Pina would defraud another investor, he would pay back the returns for another one based off that.
Classic, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yes, so some people would get like 80,000 back from...
They think it's working.
They've made.
Yeah.
So they're appeased by getting, a piecemeal return.
Yeah.
But not the initial return that they had agreed.
Okay.
For whatever their joint venture was. So, all in all, 51 million has been made. 1.5 million is part of what DJ Envy is implicated in. But DJ Envy has endorsed this individual. So there's...
On your show as well?
On the show, yeah.
Oh,
he came in as a special guest, like the Newark, New Jersey...
That's Power 105's advertiser then.
Yeah.
Technically.
And, yeah, it's a bit of a shit show. And...
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
If you know anyone that is into the whole...
Prison, that's prison talk.
Big prison talk.
Oh, prison.
Big prison talk. So, let's see how
Envy do prison?
No.
Well, I mean...
No. DJ... Well, if he has to, he will. But...
Giving suck-ups for cigarettes.
Trust me, because I don't... Well, it depends how much of his money is tied into it. And
he was falling... Do you remember? He was falling for Erica Mena when he was married.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Erica Mena frothing at the mouth. Over like, you married! You married! With a vein popping out. Can you imagine?
That is one of those kind of crazy things that you have to live with as a married person. Ooh. Like, you can't fall in love.
He said, when the ring's off, bitch, it's off. What goes down, you ain't around.
Shocking.
Copyright.
But yeah, fuck it, screw it. Let's see what happens. And
Cubano prison. Cubano prison. Yeah. Puerto Rican prison now. Right, so next topic is Rishi Sunak backtracks 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but he's done something again.
So
I only remembered, and when I remembered he was Prime Minister.
Today.
Just the other day. I was like, oh, fuck.
So, the UK and, like, the leading countries,
right.
I think the G8 or G whatever, have all signed up to this whole net zero thing.
No, none of them can keep. It's an impossible task.
It's impossible. They cannot.
So then they get sanctioned, which makes us all suffer.
Yeah, because inflation will go up.
And it's just like a game, and none of them are affected, so we're just like chess pieces on it.
Yeah.
on a black and white board.
If it was up to them, they would have every man, woman, mother and child in this country selling themselves to make ends meet because they signed up to some bogus shit because some little girl in Scandinavia cried about, my planet is polluting.
£5 for the nanny.
Yeah. So,
selling like hotcakes.
Before the start of this week, the UK had committed to having strictly only electrical cars on the UK's roads
2025
by 2030.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's impossible. So Rishi Sunak...
Unless it's a New World Order, like, establishment.
Yeah, but even that, how do you set up the infrastructure where...
They're doing it. They've been doing it over 10 years. We got 7 years left.
They have, and it's true, but...
I don't know what they're going to do to scare everyone into that. But
the world's leading elite
what's that score they've got? There's like 5 values or 10 value, whatever, and it's steps of reducing this, and doing like all their schemes and steps are really bad for all of us. But all these countries agreed to do it, and none of us realised. So you telling me that maybe they did, maybe there were articles written, maybe there were problems, maybe everyone was just going about business as usual. But like they've been doing this for 3 years now, and then they've got 7 to go, and they plan on meeting all these points. But if you look into how they're going to do that, it increases a lot of things.
Of course,
the population of humanity being the biggest. Again, like here's the thing: if they're saying that they want to get rid of coal or whatever, if we're electric that just relies on the same. We going completely solar. We can't rely on any of that shit.
You have to burn
It's not
coal.
valuable unless we all get solar panels. They are reliable. People do live off grid. They live on grid, but off grid, and you can live off it fine. But are they going to give everyone like 2 solar panels?
No.
They want to own the solar panel and your home. They want to control. Everyone's going to get on every app your carbon footprint. They've already started on delivery apps like DPD or whatever.
Really?
I'm like, I don't want to know that, bitch. I never asked you for that. Don't put some imaginary guilt on me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I asked
you're saying I've got a footprint for being alive and how cursed my foot is to touch the earth and make a methane, infliction upon the ozone. And it's like, you're not going to make me feel bad for living. So, they're doing it. They're doing it. And the banks listen.
Well, most of the banks branches are closing down anyway.
And the UN are the ones to go for. They're the ones like steering all this shit.
But that is a really worrying trend because your bank, your average high street bank is becoming more and more out of reach of the average person.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of I can only reach my bank via email or via the
web chat, app chat.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And those web chats, oh my.
That's one of my Vexxed moments.
Oh my.
Yeah, something to do with that.
I tried to explain a problem to someone over the web chat, and I think the barrier in that they are reading text and not listening to a voice to a person telling them what the issue couldn't be resolved. I had to just scrap the account.
I keep going. I keep another associate. I listen. I'll tell you about that later. As well.
But yeah, 5 more years, a 5-year delay on petrol cars. So guess what? I'll be getting the biggest engine car that I can
Oh, so
get.
good news.
Oh yeah, it's good news. But it's still categorically fuck Rishi Sunak with no Vaseline.
Yeah.
Because the hell
again, it's meant to be a democracy. You're meant to do what you want. You're not meant to. Shouldn't be no like collusion to force people into certain behaviours by like punishing us.
Yeah.
Or like that's fucked up. This might as well be Russia.
There's 20 mile an hour speed limit on roads that used to be 30 miles an hour.
And there's supposed to be public roads paid by public money. Do you know what I mean? Public taxes. If I want to fucking spit or sleep on that road, that should be mine to do. But it ain't, because everything's privatised and sold off, especially in this city.
Anyone that drives will tell you the higher gear you are in, the less petrol or diesel you're burning, because you're not going to have to press down on that accelerator as fast as harsh as you need to.
Yeah.
You can borderline coast and just lightly press the accelerator.
Soon the computer will be like, you're a bad person. You just went too fast. Your carbon footprint is now 1.3 million. You now can't get petrol for the next or access a charging booth for a week. and then you're stranded in
if
some
you-
butt fuck in America.
If you are stuck doing 20 miles an hour,
Yeah.
that means you've got to be in like second or third gear. There's some renegades out there that will do 20 miles an hour in fourth gear.
Yeah.
But good luck to them maintaining a good standard of control over their car.
Listen, electric cars have computers. That's all they care about. They can shut a car down from a million miles away. They'll do it. Same as the program money. The CBDCs is program money. So if they say, here's $100, but it's programmed to only 50% of it can be spent on groceries alone. So only grocery retailers can accept these digibucks.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the other 50% can be spent on bills. So either pub BT, yeah, I mean, fucking electric company and whatever. If you go try to buy cigarettes with it, it's the money's in there.
Oh,
You just can't
let me tell
spend
you
it
this.
on that. They want to control every aspect of your life.
I went to a supermarket. I don't want to put anyone in trouble because
Say it.
you know they contract.
We give them free promo all the time.
They contract these things. The supermarket that favours white and orange in the UK.
Sainsbury's.
So I went there, right? One of the store clerks told me, "Oh yeah, within like 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
the aim is that
You serve yourself.
no, they won't be selling cigarettes. They won't be selling cigarettes or tobacco."
Excuse me?
Yeah,
Well, there's overseas shipping for that. There's some Russians I can talk to.
and funnily enough,
Yeah.
because I have dealings
Grab
with,
that.
because I do visit other towns and cities in the UK.
Right.
I have noticed that in the cities and towns outside of London, there has been a major spike in shops that sell under-the-counter cigarettes. All cigarettes and fruity flavoured cigarettes that
Can't get no, like, we could never get them.
they're
here.
banned. They're banned here in the UK. You can't get a truly menthol cigarette in the UK anymore.
Oh, no.
You can't.
No.
You can't get any of those cigarettes that have like blueberry burst, tangerine burst.
I mean, as soon as they wipe the packaging, I was like, everything's afoot now. Everything's afoot. You know, dying babies and old people on the packaging. And that don't stop nobody, by the way. You're just traumatizing people for no reason.
You're traumatizing those.
It's got
that
no
don't smoke.
connection to this. They're smoking from the stress of seeing that picture. And you know it.
Oh yeah.
It's psychological warfare or whatever.
Respectfully, with no.
And it's only like this country. Listen, it's just only certain countries that do it. And it's very annoying. Do you know what I mean? My free will, bitch. I've got free will.
With no disrespect to any mothers that may have had complications, if I see a fetus on my cigarette box,
Oh my lord!
I'm not gonna care.
No.
I don't care.
It's got nothing to do with the cigarette,
I'll look at it and be like, "That's cool." On my cigarette,
right? Smoking vapes for the nicotine is the same nicotine, higher percentage, in fact, and you're getting addicted to that instead. The only difference is it ain't got tar and shit in it. But like you'll shove a million donuts down your throat and don't care about how much. Like we'll eat all day and not care about our fat deposits or our veins clogging up.
I'll tell you what though, there was a phase where I was vaping because I
Yeah.
thought it was the healthier option.
Same. I've stopped now. My chest was getting bad.
I was getting crippling.
Bruv, the whole time smoking, never had that in my life. But after switching to vaping, bruv, I was like, huh? This is actually worse. That's clearly like the body is more in tune with processing tobacco smoke than whatever the fuck is in the vape. And that's tried and tested.
Of course. Yeah, but me, I'll probably never stop screaming, "Fuck yeah."
It is what it is.
A lot of it.
You know.
Again, generally speaking, most people are stupid and most people will suck up to whoever it is that pays their bills.
Yeah.
So when you take that, and
Getting
I say most
vaccinations
people,
for donuts.
I say most people, I mean myself included, I have cognitively and rationally sucked up to my bosses, directors and whatnot, because I knew that going against them and the grain will impact my ability to provide for myself and my family, whatever that looks like.
So I never sucked up to them, but I never got in trouble. I've had friends that were bosses, but like never got in trouble for not sucking up to them. No.
Never got in trouble for not.
So what the fuck am I here for? You can't acknowledge one person's opinion or not mine. Like that's me.
see nowadays,
You know what I mean?
nowadays, I'll be honest, evasion has been my tactic. I evade.
Listen,
direct
yeah. If you
contact
can,
with-
if you
with
can
my
avoid that shit, avoid it because it's yeah.
You know what? There was a situation where
It's different from like private companies, big companies. Like it's different, I guess. But yeah, you know.
there was a situation where I was spoken to in a way where the 1/5 of a man that the white folks would call a nigger was bouncing off the walls in my head saying, you got to bang out, you've got to bang out. There's no percentage to my professionalism that may be more associative to Caucasian habits. Because I'm guessing in the world we live in, or the world we live in perceived by myself as my experience as 1/5 of a man,
Right.
is that I'm not actually capable of professionalism. So it was a magic trick.
How dare!
It was a magic trick that I remained professional. Now, my director spoke to me in ways where, like I said, that 1/5 of a man was like, do I have to bang out? Like, one, I'm not on shift. Two, I played no part in the incident or drama that has occurred. But you are speaking to me with this particular affliction.
Listen, one thing I've never been switched up about is that I am not paid to take no one's mouth. Like, I'm not paid to be talked down to. Like, I'm not paid for that. I'm just not. I pay for the work I provide, the labour. Not in any way am I tolerating no bullshit. And honestly, people who do enable that in their jobs, they just take shit from their bosses. Listen, I remember one time, I've had plenty of job. A job aplenty.
Job aplenty.
But do you know what? One time, I was working at a place for a year or whatever, and one time, like, I knew a person could be gruff with certain people. And it was a situation I didn't even fuck up. I know who fucked up. And they tried to talk to me some sort of way. Listen, like, that same week I said, I got better things and better places to go and to do. And I trained a lot. Next person up, off I went, and I got this boss never gave references. He said on the job when you got it, no references. I got a fucking letter in the mail saying, you know, I hope the plans you've got moving forward, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, yeah, because you knew.
And do you
like,
know?
I've never given off. You can get away with that. So they never, like, what the fuck?
Do you know that is illegal? And it is a practice that a lot of private limited companies do right now. I don't give references. I don't give references. The fuck you do?
Yeah, bitch.
If I decide to go to my union and say this particular person is not giving a reference and refuses to give references, they'll take your livelihood.
I think I did the boss again, private company, and they'd known I was like doing music and stuff, and that's what it said in the letter as well. But it was very, very reference like. Yeah. So it was like, you know what I mean? And it was like, good, stood up for myself, just got another job. Yeah. It was like not a fucking issue.
You know what? It really does piss me off that I can openly say,
like, I'm paid to take it from the customer. If it's a customer job, yeah, I am paid to take it. They're not gonna, you know, the company will say, our staff do not need to take your abuse. True, but we are paid to keep the customer happy. If they're not happy and they're outrageous, you kick up a stink all the time otherwise. There are limits. Like the boss, no. You're gonna fix your. You talk to me professional. How about that?
Yeah, but you never know where the boss is coming from, and the
boss can feel how they feel regardless.
Yeah,
they can.
Often bosses
dock your pay. I don't know. You'd have to have a real good excuse to dock my pay.
Often bosses come from backgrounds that doesn't particularly prepare them for the job role or for what it is that they are supposed to do, and they might not know. Like a first-time director, you will see by their conduct that they are a first-time director.
Right.
Like, imagine getting spoke to like this. So, how the fuck did they get out? I don't know what's going on over there, but someone's getting fired for this.
I would just like, do you know what? As well, threats. Yeah. That's another thing I don't do. Don't threat to me about fire. You either fire or you hire. Which one is it? Do you know what I mean? Am I fired or am I hired? Because I can drop from the phone call now and go get another job. Like, you're taking up my time now. Like, real talk.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real uncouth.
You do what you got to do for a year, Ali, in the job. Always, when it hits the year and you're an hour veteran, because if you're busy every day, that's a lot of days to be working with the same people, with the customers, whatever. Nah, no.
I'm gonna be real uncouth right now.
It's a new
working backwards from whatever traumas and whatever life experiences I may have.
Yeah,
I've been barbecued.
Right.
I've been stabbed 4 times.
4.
I've been shot at twice.
See?
I've been jumped countless of times. When I say jumped, I don't mean a little punch up discreetly in the back alley.
Yeah.
I mean broken teeth, laid up in bed 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I've been through it.
These are vocational injuries.
Vocational activities.
These are vocational injuries on the job, you know.
Of course. And with those experiences, a threat to me is more triggering than just bang out and do whatever you want to do. Because in the moment...
You see it the way God sees it. A threat is as good as doing it.
Yeah.
You've done it already.
Yeah.
You've almost already done it.
If you're going to show me that intent, or you have no idea what's going on...
For me, I just feel disrespected by a threat. It's not, I don't listen to what they're saying. I'm disrespected that you feel you can threaten me, bitch. Yeah. That's it. Like, it's like, listen, you know when people say, oh, if you had a gun to your head, what would you do? Plead for your life? No, shoot me. You better fucking, like, it angers me. Shoot me. You better fucking shoot me right and shoot me square in the fucking head. Listen,
make sure I don't survive.
The get up moment is going to be the best moment of my fucking life. The get up moment, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, might be, it's going to last, it's going to feel like a moment, a giant moment for me.
You know what was...
And you'll never forget it.
You know what was shocking for me? When I was barbecued.
Yeah.
I got to watch the CCTV from the opposite building, and the individual that had instigated the whole barbecue situation, and I'm speaking in code, but barbecue, I was doused with petrol and set on fire.
Right.
And the whole idea and premise of it was that I would die. The individual, almost like it was Splinter Cell or what's that other one that people really love with Snake?
Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid, right. The perpetrator was hiding behind a wall and looking, popping their head around the bend in the hopes that they will observe long enough that they can be assured that I died in that fire. And when I saw that, I thought to myself, wow, you fucking coward.
Right.
You didn't think to yourself, let me actually get him down.
Right.
Now, everything transpired the way that it transpired, and now, if we cross paths, it's going to be a pivotal moment in both of our lives and our families' lives. Because should you not approach me like, oh, I was young and dumb, and you approach me on a, we have unfinished business.
Right.
Sir, our unfinished business will end with you being finished.
And there's some hood lawyer advice I can give you, but not on air. Should that ever occur?
Now, when it comes to the civilians that I meet in my working environment, in the back of my head, there is always that afterthought of, if you have any idea of the only what am I capable of, what am I at peace with?
Yeah.
I could put you down and still be shits and giggles 5 to 10 minutes afterwards.
Well, it depends on the Richter scale, how much they've earned, how much pain they've earned. Do you know what I mean? Like on the scale, how's the meter? I've got to be fair about it. I'm always fair about everything I do.
Oh, I'm not fair. I've lost.
No, that's what I mean. Like, how far are you on the Richter scale? Because obviously there's a point of no return. No, that phrase. Do you know what I mean? And that validates anything in the street.
I'm not.
You know.
I have accepted. I haven't embraced it, but I've accepted that. Unfortunately, my life decisions leading up to now, I am no longer normal. I am no longer like the average person.
No.
So if you do cross paths with me and you see that I'm very much following laws, I'm following codes of conduct and codes of practice, please don't breach those.
Listen.
Please don't breach those, because they're there to keep us safe. I now understand law and order. Understand that these things are there to keep us all safe.
Right. Should they be applied?
Yeah.
Applied.
Imagine there's a thingy, there's a situation in that if we get into an argument, it could turn into a fist fight. If it turns into a fist fight, you're unfortunately going to see that this fat guy can fucking fight. Like, I can fucking fight. So just because I don't lead a conversation with disrespect because I can fight does not mean that you're not going to be shocked by the way that I can move and the control I have over my body.
Yeah. I just black out, honestly. Honestly, I do. No, I do.
If get me to the blackout point, count yourself as truly blessed by
I mean, I wouldn't say it takes a lot of disrespect. It just depends who you are. But blackout. That's all I got to say. What you hear is the aftermath later on. That's it.
So you know what? What we'll do, let's fuck off that topic and go to the last one of the show.
Let's do it.
So, Michigan paternity fraud bill has been passed through their respective local government.
Right.
And it will require mandatory paternity tests at birth before.
Hallelujah, Jesus.
Yes, before a person identifying as a male, as a father, will be signing birth certificates so that...
Okay, as it should be.
Yeah, because basically...
You can't lie your whole life and just be like, that's your father.
The US government has, in effect, admitted that paternity fraud is costing them an arm and a leg in compensation. Because, let's say, this is always everyone's favourite example.
Yeah.
But the example given is the gentleman who could not make representation for himself to denounce or fight or argue against being the father of a child is assumed to be the father and must therefore pay child support. They pay child support for X amount of years, let's say 18 to 21. That could be in the tune of, depending on your wages, your earnings, anything from $150,000 to the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So if a state enforces child support payments on a man, and then it turns out that the child wasn't theirs by DNA testing or by any other
we'll put it this way, if someone, say, on a minimum pays $600 a month in child support, their wages $600 a month, over 21 years, that's 150,000.
There you go.
It's 150 grand.
Yes.
Over 21 years for a child that ain't even yours.
And
that's a house. You can buy a house.
Yeah, the state is
not
getting
a big part of one.
The state is not getting that money back from the mothers that have
spent
recouped
and it's taken.
They took it. So now it's going to be mandatory paternity testing.
It's in this bowl.
Oh no, it's not piss.
Shit in this bowl.
No, that's so uncouth. It's a swab.
Like vomit in this.
It's a swab. It's a swab. It's a swab. They'll take
all the
swab of the cheeks. But funnily enough, what is odd about DNA testing is that there's no DNA test results that come back 100%.
No,
it's 99.9. If it's your cousin, it might be 79, 69. If it's your brother,
because your first cousins have more DNA likeness than your siblings. Funnily enough,
see, that's scary stuff.
Yeah, because the sibling is more like it's mad.
Yeah,
it's more like closer knit for you.
So that genetically means the incestuous natives of the Deep South are onto something.
That's so they say. So they say.
Do you know what? Under normal circumstances, I would be all...
I could tell a whole story connected to this theme and this whatever in my real life situations. Not for me personally, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'm not going to tell this story, so no.
Let's not do that.
Well, no. I will technically, it's but no, I wouldn't do that on air anyway.
All I will say is, well done, Michigan.
Yes, we're doing what needs to be done.
Let's tighten things up. And I guess, technically, I am one of those troublemakers. Because, I shouldn't say this on air, because all the hoes are just going to start flocking around me.
Yeah.
But I'm not a condom wearer. I'm not.
Just, clapping it up.
I'm shooting up the club. And
clap, clap, clap.
I most certainly am not one of those pull-out guys.
Femidom?
Fuck off.
Femidom. It's like one of them gloves people put on to shove their hands up cows. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing?
If I can't experience...
Like a bin bag, basically. Like a white bin bag.
If I can't experience a white bin bag, you think...
Shoved up the nanny. It is. It's rank. What's wrong with that?
If I can't experience the natural climate and the results of the stimuli,
the biome,
yes, the microbiome, I can't do it. Imagine
I had to be Nick Cannon part 2.
On the occasions where I have used a condom, I would either go floppy the moment that it goes on,
okay,
or I will
I'm allergic.
or I will indiscriminately pump at it like
Right.
it's a gym workout.
Right.
And when I finish, I will need to wank.
Well, it is a training. Like, if you didn't start wearing them when you was younger, then you're not going to really get into that as an adult.
Right, I see.
You know? It's a training that comes with something you just got to put up with. You know, if you give a fuck.
Well, I'm broke.
If you give a fuck.
I'm broken.
But again, if you're not sleeping with clapped out whores, then it's really not much of an issue that often. It's just whatever. You're sleeping with the most rankest any old piece of street trash. Who gives it up for, like, you know, a tuppence?
Just out here on the circuit.
Tuppence and Arnie. Because these miles have run up. Do you know what I mean? Or the same with the other side, whatever. I don't even know how. Some people have put it in like 2,000 people. How's it not fallen off?
I've clearly got a problem where I am happier to log your lunar cycle dates.
Because the pH balance need to be thrown up now.
No, I will count your days. I know when it's safe, when it's not safe. But obviously...
You know, the internal of the vagina is like, detecting. Foreign vagina particles.
Yeah, it is. It's not a pretty thing, but...
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work to know.
It's like living in a Playboy mansion or something.
It's a lot of hard work to know when to stay away from someone and when not to.
Right.
But...
Unless you're a vampire.
Oh, no, I don't do that. Fuck that.
Unless you're a vampire, you know what I mean? Count Dracula and shit. Twilight.
On that sickening note, the show...
Let's go to the man.
Fuck that.
On that beautiful note of disgust, we are going to go to an ad break. And thank God we can...
That blood ain't the same, you know. Blood will fill up the scent will just fill up the room.
Oh, can you imagine? I can't. Let's not. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Introducing the new mini-album, Saint Remixed, featuring some of Saint's standout R&B songs and previously unheard vocals, now reimagined into electro and dance anthems. 7 new remixes, 7 new visualizers, available from major music stores on September 30th worldwide. Also be sure to download Saint's new electro single, Time, and catch the official music video, out on Vevo on September 28th.
Now streaming, the first 3 episodes of the new sci-fi audio drama and upcoming book series, Starlight, Retheme's Revenge. Start your journey with Fox, REQ, and the crew aboard the Starlight Express as they navigate perilous dangers and face off with the deadly Retheme. Written and narrated by Saint, the audio drama will continue this December when the book hits stores near you. Start the story now on major podcast stores including Podbean, Samsung, and more. Be sure to share the story and leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed the show and want to hear more. Now, let's get back to Mo Vader and Saint.
Welcome back to Vexxed Uncensored with me, Mo Vader.
And me, Saint.
And we are now in the infamous, the scandalous, the fallacious, the scam. He's only gone and fucked it.
He took his job. He took his job, guys. Well, yes, this part of the show where we get vexed and share what's pissed us off this week.
It's the slanderous, the insatiable, the problematic, the honest, and downright uncensored Vexxed moments.
You go first.
I'll go first. This week, I'm scraping together a really shitty excuse for a Vex segment. And I'm going to go on to the whole paternity fraud thing. I took some time to actually go and watch some of that, paternity court with the black lady on YouTube. And
what, TV show?
It's like a YouTube show that started off as a TV
court show?
Yeah, it's a judge. And the judge...
Oh, it's just paternity?
Yeah, just paternity. The judge listens to the particulars and everything. And
okay.
The lady brings their evidence, and then the gentleman's like, but I've never gotten a woman pregnant in my life.
And they think that's the excuse.
Yeah. And it's like, well, because one thing that ladies will cling to is the miracle child. Like, there's always a miracle child. Even though this donkey has never gotten a woman pregnant in his life, he is just financially sort of okay-ish.
Why don't guys they feel that way, just get vasectomies at 18?
God forbid. What guy do you know that is that responsible? Or
No,
even-
because they ain't lived it yet.
Yeah. most guys, and this is where I will be
Instead of denying the child this whole drama, it's like, oh my days, because come on, just leaving a trail of babies.
This is where I will stereotype and generalize. Most guys, myself included, haven't been stung yet, so they don't understand the
Well,
sentiment.
you can
of
just
vasectomy.
shit happens, but you expect the other half to handle their business and you handled yours. Like, you can only do the best you can with what you've got.
After all, if you're so,
But you can care, and obviously if you don't use them, you don't use them. Or if you're like in between, you know what I mean? Most people are. Sometimes use them, sometimes don't. It depends on who it is.
yeah.
Where you been? You know what I mean?
Yeah, unfortunately for me, there's no sometimes.
Clippity clap. Don't want clippity clappity going on.
Every time is a goddamn roulette. Every time.
Every time. Cross pollination.
Straight hollow tips.
Oh, you're speed now.
I'm shooting straight hollow tips. There ain't no blanks in my gun.
Oh, don't.
No blanks.
Blankety blank.
Oh. Postcode just landed.
Postcode lottery.
Let me just check a little.
Sorry, Mo's lining up a
therapy
expedition.
A therapy session.
You know, an expedition. At least $1 million.
Yeah, if you hoes gonna be Miss Independent and such, Miss Independent comes with some financial circumstances that you can't have your cake and eat
or
it
find
too.
a new man, one or the other.
Find you a real good sucker.
Don't go for no more, don't date broke.
Yeah, rich sucker.
Put a price on the purse now.
I won't deny it. There is a possibility that I would have been a rich sucker because I'm generous. Like, I have no problem funding those that provide me,
hobbies.
they provide me certain life luxuries.
Oh, right. Hugh Hefner.
I understand. I do understand equivalent exchange.
Yeah.
I was watching Full Metal Alchemist when I was like 12, 13. Understand, everything has a price, everything has a cost, and there's...
the price you pay.
It's the price you pay for the privilege of...
Yeah, it just depends what you're willing to go through in life. Is it for convenience or love or both, Whatever it is you're after, it will run away from you for as long as possible. It's usually the way of the world.
See, the funny thing is, where you said love, in my brain, my mind went, yeah, I'm capable of love, but
you said
I'm
to the listeners that you had, the beast of love, and was being devoured, in certain terms.
Yes.
And now you're like,
I'm still capable of it,
right.
But when I detect it,
right.
I very much pull myself back and have rational conversations with
say,
myself.
love this?
I'm like, yeah, come on now.
What you playing at?
Do the math. Is it the math, homeboy?
Something fishy, right? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's have more self-esteem around it.
I'll be damned if I'm a fool again.
Let's have more, self-confidence in the,
And funnily enough,
it's not always your fault when a relationship ends,
Funnily enough, whereas I would laugh and jokingly say, find you a sucker, I would say I was a sucker, but...
It's a sucker.
A sucker, a sucker, man. Russell Wilson, sucker.
Oh, really? See, I just see them as a happy couple. Young, moneyed, happy. Like, they got money. It's that NFL money don't play. Okay?
Look,
all that shit does independent. She pays for all their music videos herself,
She's... I'd like to see the bank statements to confirm that.
Well, he might be an investor in the company Beauty Mark, I think, is that company.
Well, there you go. There's a...
But like, again, that's what...
Godfather.
It's like people see what everyone vies for and then go, sucker. It's like they see what, so when someone gets it, it's the sucker. It's like, you can't win as a man, really. You know what I mean?
I've been lucky enough to have a main line into the female psychology.
Right.
And more often than not, the wording might slightly be different.
Right.
But there is an elite slice of
Sierra
ladies.
went through her phase. She did Future. She learned very harshly.
There you go.
But she learned. Most bitches just stay on that same track. She said, again...
Now...
She said, I'm going the opposite direction. Because Sierra gets eyes from everyone. She picked Future. And now all she has to do is I'm picking that.
Let's hone back into the point. She had her phase. That phase that she had condemns the average woman. The average woman who goes through that phase is condemned. No. Please.
Well, for dating lower browed criminals or something.
For Pookies and Ray Rays, they are condemned.
For dating trouble.
Yes, they are condemned.
Well, that's the thing. Bad boys girls say they want.
Yeah, they want that before the wall hits them. They want that before.
Well, some girls can handle it. Some girls can't. Put it that way.
Yeah, but they want that. Don't make excuses for them. They want that whilst they're still hot shit. But when they're not hot shit and they're getting tired, their hips getting bad. Oh, okay. Yeah, their hips getting bad. They're getting tired. The edges are fading away. That's when now they want a sucker to swoop in.
Okay.
And provide that stability and such. When you got a whole leap of bad boy, you know.
Yeah.
Bad boy.
Well, that would be the sugar mama. Which one you gonna want to be? Most women don't want to age and be considered matronly, and that's what being a sugar mama comes down to. You know, they don't want that.
I'm aware of what sugar mama.
Cougars or whatever, they normalise paedophilia. The word cougar.
Cougars don't actually have the trademark stamp of I've been with the bad boy. Those that have been with the bad boy have evidence of being with the bad boy.
The cougar thing, I just think, is men have the same exact, you know, whatever you want, midlife crisis. They have the same exact thing where they suddenly just jump 20 to 25, 30 years younger than them because they've got into 60 and they're like, fuck it.
Whoa, cougars. By definition, don't forget, cougars.
Well, men go for like they start like, you know, whatever. But women, cougars, in my mind, is 40 to 50.
Cougars are women that got to that age.
Oh yeah,
no
there's
children.
MILFs, obviously.
No children, right? A MILF who is having that midlife crisis.
Yeah. That fucks all her son's friends.
That usually ends up in divorce because let's face it, the first step of a midlife crisis for a married woman is divorce.
It's cheating.
Yeah, you're right. Cheating that goes into divorce, and then from divorce, it goes into
I want your money.
I guess a second hoe phase.
Yeah, because, I mean, you'd hope so.
Yeah. Now I've got no problem.
Those. Yeah.
I've got no problem with hoes. Personally, I have been heard saying I love hoes.
Right.
What I have a problem is once you put on the hoe uniform,
it don't come off.
You're
a hoe for life.
It's for life, baby. You're gonna be
get that medallion of hoeship.
Yeah, you're gonna be fucking with 1/5 of a man like me.
Yeah,
every motherfucker. That should catch on, you know.
But hoes will fuck people they're not even attracted to. They're just like, it's a fuck. I'm just like, okay.
This is true.
I think that's a young thing for me. That had to run out at least a few years ago.
Now me, I carry.
It's my standard or up now. Whatever that means, you know what. I don't want to be too out of your motherfucking league. Not at this point.
I don't even know if I have. Do you know what? I don't think I have a standard. I like what I like. And that's it.
That's what you should really care about. But yeah, I'm just, it don't go right when you aim down.
No, it don't.
You don't. You have to you go for what is right for you. Don't settle, basically.
I had set myself a standard. And
you'll find them out there. You were just picking the ones that were like easy. You didn't have to think too much about because you weren't intimidated by them. You have to think, I fancy them. You're just like, you're a shag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's easier.
Yeah, I get that.
Right. Where now I'm like, fuck that. You motherfuckers were lucky. You won the motherfucking lottery, bitch.
I actually thank the stars that you jumped in there and said that because the sentence that was going to come out of my mouth, I just realised.
Yeah, the whole show is closed.
Yeah, I just realised that was not the
whole show is closed.
So be it.
Right, was that yours?
Yeah, that's it. Okay. That's all I've got.
So if I jump in, obviously with the Russell Brand thing coming up and the fact that one of the people that he did was 16, it comes to question again the age of consent in the UK as far as it being legal technically for a 16-year-old to be in a relationship with someone 15, 20, 30 years older than them in the UK. Yeah. And that, I think, the age of consent should rise to 18, period. Anyway, my vexed moment is the companies that are kind of like paring down their teams, big companies, and hiding all their customer service access in endless automated forums and chatbots.
Yeah.
And no one can get a hold of anyone from anything anymore. It's like, I think the only companies that are really on it are like Amazon, but they're really stupid and you have to do things 10 times. It seems they're not very trained, or like your food apps where you can go on and get a refund straight away. Most of the time it's actually AI doing it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because when you go on Deliveroo and you do something, I'm missing this and that, you do a photo, it's trained to assess, and that's why you get the refund literally in like 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So, but I'm talking about like big companies that are doing it, and even banks and stuff like this is to a point where like they want us to rely on digital everything, yet they're paring down their teams instead of expanding their teams, and they're getting more capacity because they're just closing down all their like brick and mortar.
Yeah,
what are you doing that for? Because you want money. You're trying to, in this time, hawk as much money and give us the worst possible customer service across the board I've ever seen in my lifetime. Just as far as companies are concerned, period. Like, across the board, it's all bad. Like, you're saying independent companies that are run by people or families that love what they're doing, or the companies that you're going to get something really, like, good outcomes. But these big companies are taking the piss. Like, it should be illegal at this point to be hiding your customer service, like, how, whatever. Anyway, so that's that. Second one is protesters. So the attacks on protesters, like, and I'm not talking about when in France or something where like the police are clashing with protesters or whatever. No, I'm talking about like peaceful protesters. I'm talking about like climate change, from climate change to animal cruelty to whatever. Peaceful protesters, they're going to block a road. Yeah, they're going to handcuff themselves to something. That's how it's been done for decades. It's how it's done. Things have been changed monumentally, especially when you see like in the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King versus, Malcolm X, as far as like aggression and peace, and how peaceful protests work. Yeah. They work, right? So whether you agree whether someone's fighting climate change and they're blocking your street and like you're pissed because you want to go and drop your kid to school, whatever.
If your relative dies in the ambulance that they're holding up.
And this is what I'm going to get to. But it's like a point where, regardless of what they're protesting, whether you believe in it or not, was an untold rule, and it's the police that have been sent there to deal with it illegally because they're not meant to interrupt protesters like that anyway. The public are now to a point where they protested. Mm-hmm. Like, I've seen people get like literally pans of water and thrown it from balconies. Protesters walking down the street not doing nothing to them. Yeah. Like, I'm sitting here like, you're not getting violent to people. But here's the thing, I've seen it across the board. Here's the thing, the mass public might want to just get on with their day and go on with it, and they're going to die someday, and they don't give a fuck about one single thing. They literally don't give a fuck about anything. They don't care. They just don't care, right? And that's fine. The protesters have something, regardless of what it is. There's like 10 different things I could name as far as people with protest, but like protests have always been done. Change has happened. Protesters are literally the last standing rebellion between people and governments or power, and they're not actually doing anything. Okay, they're breaking the law by blocking a road, they're breaking the law by chaining themselves to something, and they're getting arrested and they're going to jail. It's the same, like, there's people out here doing dumb fuck shit and going to jail and spending the same money or whatever tax dollars to be locked up for. If they want to do that, I really do feel like it's a point where stop attacking these people. Like, it doesn't give you any right to be assaulting people in the street. And the fact that it's like, it actually cracks me up what's validated and what's not validated, do you know what I mean? And now I'm getting to the point where it's about, someone, blah, blah, blah. Now, back in the day, there were people, organizations that held protests that were trained, like proper trained. There were actually people in a protest who weren't even protesting. They're civilians like normal people, but the organization is training them to standpoint, to watch this, to do that. If there's someone complaining, it takes one complaint usually, someone like, we're going to the hospital or whatever. They are trained to formulate, to let that car through, or to move on, or to whatever. It's usually handled professionally. Like, protests are usually always handled properly by a leader organisation. What happens is protests go wrong. And there's protests where there's no training. And this isn't like all official, because people don't even get into like protesting or, researching the fact that from the Black Panthers up until any organisation. But there's people that do it civilian-wise that aren't connected to anything. They're just turning up, making like problems, or again, blocking the street, not having any like, this is what happens if this happens, that happens, this happens. There's usually 5 to 10 people that do that. That shit happens, but I wouldn't say blame it on all protesters, all movements, or whatever, because they're within their rights, and again, like, they're the only ones doing it. They're the only ones doing it. Everyone else is getting on with it and not giving a fuck.
Here's my 2 cents.
God bless them.
Here's my 2 cents on it, right?
Yeah.
Civilians, the population, protest by protesting.
Yeah.
The oil and petrol companies protest by lobbying. Now,
they buy their way.
They buy their way.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, if you see that protesting, you're causing more of an inconvenience and sourcing hatred from the average person that votes, how about you try and go...
Votes clearly don't change things.
They don't.
So this is why people protest.
So cool, you protest, but you're protesting against the usage of oil. And whilst you're protesting,
again, it don't matter what they're protesting about.
It matters.
Because again, I'm not talking about climate change. I don't give a fuck about what they're protesting. I think it's bullshit.
The climate change people, the ones that have literally caused deaths, because they've decided we're going to super glue our hands to this road and we're going to stop the traffic. Yeah, there's people dying in that queue.
Right, here's the thing, right? Climate change protesters might be protesting over like dumb shit in people's minds. But protests across the country, across the world, are not all protesting for climate change. But they're all being abused because of the political aspects or whatever to this climate change bollocks. That now you happen to be bothered. Now you've had to change your car. Now you've had to do all this in your home. Now your whole life is impacted. And now your street's being blocked by a bunch of nifties in green wigs and shit. Yeah, completely. Do you know what I mean? But it's still not right. Don't be battering people. Don't be like attacking people. You know what I mean? They did it at Burning Man, like they blocked off one thing, and it got real like violent, and it's like
good.
Just move up the listen. There's ways around things. Good, it's just like random.
You know what? I guarantee you, if 100% of those same oil people, literally boycotted anything to do with natural resources, electricity, heating systems, hot water out of a shower, refrigerated food. The internet, social media, and all of those things.
My road blocked. Guess what? Bling, bling, bling. Don't give a fuck where I'm going, who it is, if it's not an emergency. There's a protest, and that's it. Don't give a fuck. That's it. Bad day. Don't care if my boss rips me. Don't give a fuck about nothing. If I'm to protest, I'm late or I'm not coming. It is what it is. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm just not that pressed. Like, I wouldn't be like, do you know what I mean? I've been on buses or whatever, or in cars when there's been protests, and I'm just like, okay, the world is a giant inconvenience.
I cannot take.
Not one thing about me is going to get out that car and then pick up a protest sign and batter the living crap out of one of them, or push a granny. I've seen grannies getting pushed, and I'm like, listen, she ain't doing nothing but sitting on the ground.
What the fuck is she doing outside?
That's her business. She can have dementia.
What on earth are you doing?
You're not going to go, if you see a granny walking in the street and she's like lost, sitting in the middle of the street, you go, you right, love, get up, let's move out the street and then go back to business, or take her to the hospital.
I didn't understand that.
But it's mad how people just pick and choose with what's right and what's wrong.
I did not understand until now how the conservative Republicans felt about hippies in the 60s and 70s. But if this is anything akin to that sentiment, I get it now. I get it. I understand why they hated the hippies the way they did. Because
here's the thing, I just don't want to get to a point where society is to the point where anyone goes, that's not right, and if I was like, shut up. You know what I mean? Because you're all right with everything being ripped off, left, right, and centre, with being scammed. You're all right with, whatever, human trafficking. You're all right with all the things.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Let's reiterate that point. The next generation by generation,
and it's never going to stop. Protesting is never going to stop. They're willing to be run over.
It's continuously being abused by abused people that were abused by abused people. Because one unsavory fact of the cycle of abuse is that, unfortunately, those that are abused abuse others.
Most of the time, no, no, actually, only 30 to 40%.
That's a percentage to be reckoned with. Because bear in mind, that percentage doesn't say within X amount of years. It doesn't say whether it's after 25, 35, 45, 55, however many.
Now, abuser can be in a car, an abuser, or the abuser could be the one carrying, do not burn coal or some shit, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's in further detail than what I wanted to say.
And it's also like people on stage as well, and that's mainly what I'm relating to also. People performing on stage, singers, whatever entertains on stage, people throwing bottles, phones, cases, all sorts. People, artists getting black eyes and beating up for getting on stage, literally, to the point where they're like going to be forced to just give you shit instead. Perform behind like a metal net. So like treat you lot like dogs and animals because you don't even know how to respect people on stage. And yeah, we've got public liability insurance, bitch, but we don't want to fucking have to deal with that. And then lose how much and then fuck someone's, what's that girl's name? I don't even know. Pop singer. She got bricked in the face with something on stage. You know what I mean? Her whole face was all hanging. I was like, nah, you cannot. Not that promoter was not paying her enough money to touch that stage for some dickhead to do that. And it was like a cup or a mug. And they were like, oh, I thought it'd be funny. This is the level we're getting to stupidity and people not thinking before they act, like at all. Well, like I'm a short-tempered person at times. It depends, really does depend what it is. But I will allow myself to burn further than, I would normally, because someone's got to do it. Do you know what I mean? Someone's got to do it. And yeah, there are limits and shit at the same time. Like, there are actually also more than one way to skin a cat. So yeah, people just jump into the whole, like, let's just be a violent mob and normalize that is mad. The last thing, petty, but whatever. So one thing about America, there's a lot of things to not really like want from American culture. The one thing I am envious of is the food.
Really? Envious? But they have like chlorine washed chicken and you want some of that? I'm
sorry, the food over here is just as unhealthy. But over there, if you pay $15-20 for a meal, you're getting like a big massive bowl of whatever. You're getting like giant portions. They figured out a way how to make big, giant, unhealthy food look attractive. Do you know what I mean? There's all sorts of like numerous hundreds of brands and chains that do like just better. Like the lowest standard of food in like an IHOP is at least twice as better in anything you can get here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's bullshit. So I'm envious of that. I feel ripped off here. And I know I've lived other places, but it's like, I'm sorry, the disparity is ridiculous. Like, food here is so expensive.
Well, the economy has basically said, if you're going to be fat, you're going to pay an arm and a leg to be fat.
They're really trying to make it hard. And like the sugar tax as well is so annoying. Mainly just because there's places that will just like, KFC.
Yeah.
They will sell Tango, 7-Up, but they will not sell the original Pepsi now. Pepsi Diet, Pepsi Zero, Pepsi Black, whatever the fuck they've got. All the Pepsis, but no original Pepsi. They're not the only ones that I'm just highlighting that they start to drop like original Coke. You can only get the diets.
Yeah, it's true.
Some of us can't drink that saccharine shit, that fake sugar shit. We can't. Hyperglycemics and stuff, people with low blood sugar, we need like actual sugar. It's important. I never liked it from a kid anyway, but like now it's important and it's not enough of it. You've got to get real unhealthy to get what you need. It makes no sense. Or just eat a shitload of fruit, which I'm allergic to English fruit a bit. Always have been. Out of the country, I'm fine.
You're going to have to get like nickel bags of sugar. Of white cast. Carry around little sachets of sugar, just bang it. Like
some crackhead.
Gotta keep me going.
It's like annoying. But yeah, what's the real shit? If it's going to be fake, make it good. Just like I said about McDonald's, Burger King. If a robot can make it better, give it to me. Because it's shit anyway.
Yeah.
Make it look pretty, make it stack up, make it worth the money. I want the American food culture here. Okay. Not versions of it less than 3 times the size.
Yeah.
Like, where can you go when you order like a pasta dish and it's coming in a big fucking bowl like this that takes up half the table?
Yeah, no.
And it's good.
That's not happening here.
Because there's mashed cheese, everything's available.
It's not. That is unlikely to ever happen here because of 1, the population, and 2, the scarcity of land and living space. Yeah. So here in London particularly, we all live on top of each other in matchstick houses. Yeah. In matchstick flats, apartments. And then those that can afford a plot of land and afford to live in a house or home. Well,
whoever them, lucky if you are.
Whoever they are, they've probably got someone in the house that's cooking a reasonable enough meal and takeaway is one night kind of thing.
Right.
Let's look at the millions of people that depend on that $15 meal.
Right.
Over there.
A meal should fill you up. They're doing burgers and fries and a can of drink now for £10-11. That's not... That's not okay. That's not normal. And it's nothing special either. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane to me. It'd be insane to most of the world, honestly. It's like, London is just becoming, like, really annoying. And considering leaving, but I'm not really. I'm just, daydreaming about it. It's just a daydream.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Once you come back, you don't go back.
Not going to happen.
But that's pretty much all I've got for this week.
Yeah, that's it.
Can't think of nothing else. Rambled on for long enough.
I'm still like, fuck that. The clip where I saw where there's people begging and pleading with them to let them through because they've got a baby on the way to the hospital.
Yeah, but that's usually where the people go, all right, yep, and they do the, and it's fine. That's why there's no more protest issues like that because they're handled. That person was just, if they said no or ignored them or started, then they're fucked up for that.
That's crazy. Yeah, that I can never get behind that organisation. As it is right now, as it presents and favours the orange high-vis and whatever else.
And I don't know who's protested, don't keep track of them, nothing like that. So, but in general, I just have to let that be known.
Call me arrogant, but if they were holding up roads and letting children die in cars, potentially and allegedly.
And let's be logic. Yeah, some people are dramatic. There's no one dying.
And if,
fuck's sake,
if they were doing that and it was for the sake of stop child abuse in whatever forms it is,
imagine.
Or
child abuse, and there's like children dying in cars because no one will let them through. And but again, that does not happen most of the time. It's not. It's just. I won't let them go down like that because there's people that have done mad, amazing shit, and it's all to the T. It's read there's stuff online with books. People used to in this like 70s, 80s, 90s. There's books in the library showing you how to organize, and it's actually a human right to know how to organize and to organize. It's a human right. No one can ever take that away from none of us. They tried to do it in COVID. We were pissed. Don't do that to no one else. Unless they're like, again, harming people. That's fine. But like, I mean, if they're not and they're professional,
don't plan.
Like, just go out, say, bitch, move, because of blah, and they'll move.
Don't plan an oil thing in my route. Don't you fucking dare.
That's what I'm saying about America. This thing, because listen, they'll shoot you dead. They said, you blocked my motherfucking road.
If you believe that you are harder than a car and you're made of steel,
listen, some are.
Sit in my path.
Some are, apparently.
Sit in my path.
Telling stories, but hey, some are.
You sit in my path because reckless driving is gonna land me.
When they bounce back like Terminator and get up, just reverse. Come running at you like.
I will face my fate. If they get up, I will face my fate.
On the windscreen.
I've come across many cyclists who believe they were made of metal.
They said Carl is bad, bitch.
Yeah, nah, fuck them. Fuck them all.
Yeah. But no, other than that, go and watch my music video time on, yes, the 28th of September. You know, go and do that, stream it and all that stuff. And remix mini album is out on the 30th.
Support.
Yes, youtube.com/Saint Blades. How about that? And everywhere else. Got anything else there? Any advice?
Any advice?
For the listeners?
Embrace change. Be like water. Fill your cup. Flow through the river. But never be rigid. Life is a continuous...
Did Bruce Lee say that?
Yes, he did. It's Bruce Lee.
I was thinking, someone said that before. It's Bruce Lee, innit?
I just didn't want to say it with...
He's a legend, yes. He's a legend.
You know, I didn't want to go... What?
You didn't want to, give him... I mean, we do accents on the show, but let's not do
not in this, I guess. Appropriate use of pronunciation and annunciation is what I like to call it.
Yeah, we do our best. All right then, guys. That's us for this week, and we'll see you soon.
Have you ever wanted your own podcast, solo or with your co-host? Follow us on Instagram at Vexxed Art Brands and send us a message. We look forward to discussing your amazing ideas. You never know what could happen.